Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back for another week of Just a Fan podcast. And this week, and it started yesterday, that it is now Christmas football for us. Yesterday at 12 o'clock, legal tampering period has started. Tomorrow, 4 p.m., everybody can sign on the dotted line.
The league year starts.
Everything starts. So, as you can see on the title, it says Free Agency Part 1. Big news until now. That means until the show just started. So even if something happened 5 minutes ago, we're going to cover it. We just might cover it. There's going to be a part 2 to this later on this week, because we know that this week, not just this week, not over, but all the big moves, we're going to get some more between now and then. So we want to make sure we cover a lot of that stuff. It's a 1 week time. It's a 1 week thing only, but we're going to bring it back. I'm your quarter host, the NFL Encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing, Coach Williams. Down below is the return of the wide receiver, Morgan State University, Steve White.
666.
Stop. And then, what's up, Rashad? This way, the defensive playmaker, the defensive on-field caller, green dot guy.
Broadcasting live from the LBL Ranch.
That's right.
I'm not at home right now. I'm at the family ranch taking care of some business. So,
Pando 316. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Good, man. A lot of moves being made.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of moves. And I mean, really, a lot of stuff happened. Before yesterday started. Well, some of it was even before. Was last week, but we covered it. This past weekend, we had a huge trade that involved nothing but draft picks. Well, and DJ Moore. So, the Chicago Bears traded a number 1 overall pick to Carolina for the number 9 pick this year's draft, number 61 pick, which is in the second round this year's draft, 2024 first round pick, 2025 second round pick, and wide receiver DJ Moore. Steve, how do you feel about this, man? Do you feel like somebody won the trade or what?
Well, the Bears clearly won the trade. Listen, the Panthers front office hasn't known what they haven't known what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball since they drafted Christian McCaffrey. Let's just call it what it is. That front office, literally within not even a full year, have gotten rid of Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore, and draft picks to trade back 8 spots in the first round. So you're telling me that all good quarterbacks will be gone picks 1 through 8, Carolina, to give up all of that for number 1 overall, man. The Bears clearly won the trade. You bring in DJ Moore, who's a stud receiver. I guess I was trying to change directly. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Prolific Rambo. I'm gonna get to that in 1 second. Give me a second. The Bears added a stud receiver. They have draft picks. That's great. They have some free agency signings, which is great as well. I think in order for all of it to make sense for the Bears organization, they got to develop Justin Fields to be more of a passer. He doesn't like throwing the ball. That's a statistical fact. So until he does that, we'll see. If he can do that, then the Bears are going to be competitive for years to come.
It's gonna all come down, in my opinion, to what is done with those draft picks and what is done with all that cap space that they have. You got some people who feel like, oh, we got, and it's not just the Bears. I'm talking about fans in general. Oh, we got all this cap space. Let's go shopping. It's like, no, because a lot of that stuff will fool around and bite you in the butt later. They need to still be judicious. Just because you ever heard that saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
That they're gonna have to be extremely judicious about what they still have, like 45, close to 45 million in cap space. Just the most in the league right now.
Mhm.
But at the same time, don't go crazy, don't go nuts. Right now, so far, the Bears are doing the right thing. I haven't seen them do anything just off kilter crazy.
Yeah.
As far as free agency, and that's good. What up, Q? But basically, if they do this right, if their scouting department is on point for the draft, and they're judicious about their spending, we're talking about a team that could be built to be good for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Easily.
Absolutely.
If they do it right.
Yes.
And or they could completely screw the pooch and crash and burn. But they have an opportunity. The Bears have an opportunity to be super relevant for the first time in many years with the position that they're in. And Carolina, I know some Carolina fans right now that are ready. They're on a bridge. Their crisis counselor is talking to them right now, trying to get them off the ledge. Because, man, the Carolina got hosed on that. They hosed themselves on that.
I want to know who okayed that deal. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, someone said this is a great idea.
Well, I think
the opioid epidemic is a real thing in Carolina. I'm just gonna put it.
I think the coaching staff and the front office agreed on moving up because they want to put themselves in a position to grab one of those 3 quarterbacks. Hold on, Steve. I see you shaking your head.
I didn't say anything. I'm just shaking my head. Go ahead.
No. I see you shaking your head. So when I'm coming from the side of Carolina, they wanted to make sure that they get who they feel is the best quarterback for them. Because if you're picking at 9, that tells me you're not going to be able to get Bryce Young. You're not going to be able to get C.J. Stroud. And after what happened at the combine, you're not getting Anthony Richardson. And I don't think Will Levis is in play at all. So,
okay,
the Panthers coaching staff probably wants one quarterback. Maybe the ownership wants another quarterback, but it puts them in position to get a quarterback they want. And you also got to remember this too. Your head coach is Frank White. He is a former NFL quarterback. Okay. He was also in Philadelphia in 2016, 2017 when they drafted Carson Wentz, and he was looking like an MVP quarterback. Okay. Doug Peterson has quarterback background, who comes from Andy Reid's tree, who's been around Mike Holmgren and Bill Walsh. Okay. Then your quarterback's coach is Josh McCown, who's a former NFL quarterback journeyman. That's more quarterback experience on that staff, on the offensive staff. Okay. Steve, just listen.
I think I know what Steve about to go. So
I know what Steve about to do. Steve's gonna say all this is irrelevant. That's fine. He can say all of it's relevant. And then Jim Caldwell knows how to develop quarterbacks as well. The thing about it is it's about drafting the quarterback and developing. You got your left tackle last year and Kwame, something like that from North Carolina State. So you got your left tackle, you got your quarterback. Who are you going to get your quarterback? You still have to hire a second round pick. Go get a wide receiver with that second round pick. You can still build some offense this year. And even though you lost your first round pick next year, you still have your second round pick. And the following, you still have your first round pick. So it's not completely horrific for Carolina. I still think Carolina can still do something. They're going to build a system around your quarterback. That's what teams have done. Look at down in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence was trash under Urban Meyer. Look at him now to Doug Peterson. They're going to get the quarterback they want. You build a system. You get the players you need around that quarterback. It's not a this year thing. It's going to be a 2024, more so 2025 type thing for the quarterback.
It's definitely not a this year thing. It's
Okay.
Definitely not. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, so there's a couple things to unpack about this and what you said, Brandon. And you said it well. But I want to dig into a couple things. Number one, Josh McCown being the quarterback's coach, he wasn't a good quarterback. So bringing his name up means zero.
Okay,
he could have
but
played 20 years in the league. If you're not good for something at 20 years, his experience to whoever they're going to pick up, in my opinion, doesn't really say a whole lot. Number two, you're doing all of that for a guy that you believe in. So let's just imagine he stays healthy. Let's imagine that Frank Reich, and we mentioned the Carson Wentz thing. Okay, they won the division a year when I believe most of the division was handicapped in the NFC East, but they still won the division and won the Super Bowl that year. We'll give Frank Reich that credit. That's fine. But to put all the eggs in that basket, to me, getting that pick is really is for clout. I think the Panthers, and there's no offense to their fans, it's an organization that they're going to do whatever they can to make a splash and to sell tickets because they need to right about now. And having a number one pick is going to give fans hope. That's what fans want to see. That's what they want to hear. New head coach coming in, that you can't make a bigger splash than that. But you're giving away your number. Like I said, you gave away your top two offensive players within 8 months, and then you pull this and
but Steve, you got to think new regime because they fired the head coach.
Oh, it's new, all right. It's new.
But a lot of times, and Carolina's not the first team to do this. This happens so many times in the past. Teams, when they get a new coaching staff, especially when they get a new general manager, I'm not saying Carolina got a new general manager, but when they get a new coach staff, new general manager, they kind of clean house of players and bring in their own guys.
Okay, and so let me ask you this. And Frank Reich's decent, but how many number one overall quarterbacks drafted have been great in the league?
Not many. If I'm not gonna say if any at all, because Peyton Manning. No, he went.
Peyton Manning didn't go number one.
No, he went number two. No, that's fine. No, I get what you're saying.
The last one to win MVP was one Cam Newton, who was in Carolina, and they treated him bad.
Oh, hey, you ain't getting an argument from me on that.
You know, again, it wasn't a good deal on Carolina's behalf. It just wasn't, in my opinion.
Carolina basically got hosed on that deal, and you can say, well, it's a new regime and this and that and the other, but Christian McCaffrey was gotten rid of by the old regime. So
yeah, but the head coach was already.
This was last season.
The head coach was already fired, so that was really more so that was more so the head coach.
Okay, so I'd like to talk in analogies. So if you move into a new house, okay, and there's already an 80-inch state-of-the-art smart TV on the wall, and they came with the house, you don't throw it out in the front yard. That's the point I'm making. Okay, Christian McCaffrey.
You get rid of your smart fridge too, and DJ Moore.
Thank you.
And we can equate this.
And I hear all the new regime stuff, and I hear people. That's the same cliche all the time. It's a new regime, but you don't throw out the good stuff.
And all they got was
all I'm saying is it happens all the time. There's not a first time thing. It's not going to be a last time.
No. You're right.
No,
it does happen all the time.
No, this doesn't.
What I'm saying is,
it does happen, Steve.
Smart
it does happen.
It happens all the time.
You got to do your homework, Steve. Steve, do your homework.
So can you
It
tell me a team?
happens, but it doesn't make
I'm
it
not
smart.
Steve. I haven't done my homework to give you example. You gotta go do your homework after the show.
No, I'm telling you, there's no team that's giving the number one wide receiver, their best offensive player, and their top 10 draft pick. Oh,
At the end
and
of the day,
the
it's
second
just-
round draft pick. Oh, and next year's first round draft pick. Oh, and next year's second round draft pick for a number one overall pick. It has not happened in the history of
And
the
at the
NFL.
end of the
Guys,
day,
it's homework.
it's just not smart.
If you want a quarterback that you truly believe in, that you're not going to get a number 9, and you know you got to move up to get him, you're going to make the move. It's a quarterback-driven league. I'm sorry, it's a quarterback-driven league. Teams,
Okay, so Brandon,
You would not be okay if Dallas did that. You wouldn't be okay if we did that.
Wait. What did Washington do to get RG3?
Perfect example.
The Eagles traded up twice to go get Carson Wentz.
Perfect
The
example.
Rams traded up twice to go get
I think
Jared
you're making
Goff.
Steve point for him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
No,
you're making
literally
Steve point
are.
for him.
I understand that. I understand. Look, listen. I know those things didn't work out, but if you're going to go get the quarterback you want, that's what teams are going to do.
And I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is because clearly we know they did what they feel like they wanted and needed to do. What I'm saying is the package, the deal. So you named a team that traded up. They did not give away the best offensive player. None of them did that. And the teams that you mentioned that did those moves.
Well, Washington have a good offensive player.
And if
So
they did,
who are they going to give up at the time?
exactly.
Philadelphia didn't have a good offensive player at the time either. Who are they going to give up? And neither did the Rams at the time either. Who are they going to give up?
That
Oh,
is
they
how
had
you're
Todd
proving,
Gurley. Okay, fine.
you're proving my point.
They had
exactly.
Todd Gurley. Okay, wow. But that was it.
All
You
right,
would not
so
be okay if Dallas did that.
So listen, the point is it's just not smart.
We're not talking about Dallas, though. We're talking about Carolina.
Brandon, and you've been on one
smart.
today, Brandon. You about these moves. You've been on one.
It's just not smart.
You would
I'm gonna
not
just
be
keep saying
okay.
it's not smart.
I know Brandon's trying to be the advocate, but Brandon would not be okay if we did something like that.
It's not smart.
Eric wouldn't be on the show tonight if the Niners did something like that.
No, I'd be on the show.
that's
We
what's
probably
called
wouldn't
out.
be show
We had to
folks.
mute
I'd be
you.
cussing so much.
All right.
Yeah, you had to
All
mute me.
All right.
All right, so speaking of teams that got hosed in the trade, we can move on and talk about how Miami Dolphins completely crapped the bed with that trade. Let's move forward on that one.
Jalen Ramsey from the LA Rams to the Miami Dolphins. Two nice cities, LA and Miami.
Mhm.
Jalen Ramsey to the Miami Dolphins for a 3rd-round pick and some backup tight end I never heard of in a day of my life. Probably won't ever hear from him again in a day of my life. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay,
Mhm.
so let me have this one.
Hold on. I feel like now, Eric.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So first of all, the dude that self-proclaimed that he's him, but has been getting basically he's been in the Shriners burn unit for probably the last 3 seasons. Yeah, so you basically traded this guy. Here's the thing. The Miami Dolphins already have Xavier Howard. He's the alpha dog corner.
Mhm.
Okay, now if you were bringing in Jalen Ramsey to be the other guy on the other side, the you know, I don't know with that, but you're what was it, 36? How much was it the contract?
Yeah, 36 mil over 2 years.
Yeah. You take over.
Yeah, so that's a bruh moment. I think last one could be a bruh. I think maybe it's 2 bruh moments, but pretty much
is
Miami absorbed this contract, man, and it's like you're not
That's the
that
problem.
weak on defense, and you're paying a guy
That's-
$18 million
You
base a year.
You literally almost won a game against the Bills just off your defense. This was not a needed piece. Not to mention a guy who is not him anymore. Okay. Now trading away the backup tight end, okay, no big deal. But a third rounder, come on, this cornerback draft is loaded. You could have got and drafted a corner in the round that could probably do more than Jalen Ramsey at this point.
But that's the thing, man.
And pay him less.
Dude, these teams that are not used to being competitive consistently, as far as Miami, we just talked about the Panthers, they are doing desperate moves because they feel like the time is now. And it doesn't have to be now. Because these kind of deals are going to hamper them long term because you're spending this money, so you're already cap strapped and cash strapped for depth to a roster. What happens if Waddle gets hurt? What happens if Hill gets hurt? What happens if Gesicki gets hurt? Or your running back, Xavier Howard gets hurt? You're not building consistent veteran or even drafting well enough to have enough depth on the defensive side of the ball. And it's like you're spending all this money for splash names because it's loaded now. They're about to look like Philly or the Rams or the Buccaneers. They're pulling this kind of moves, overpaying these veterans to make splash headlines because you think your time is literally this year. Like this is a move you pull when it's like, man, we just need one piece. We're just one blown coverage away from winning the Super Bowl. Oh man, we got to get Ramsey. Y'all weren't there.
Yeah, no.
Mm-mm.
And to add a piece like that for that price is ridiculous. If they would have traded for him and restructured his deal, if they would have traded, I just can't see trading for him because let's be honest, Jalen Ramsey had one good game all season long. He was pretty much the butt of a lot of jokes this whole season. I'm gonna
equate it to this. Let's rewind a year ago. Okay, like, dang, what team could use Ramsey right now? What team was that play away from winning it all and that has the money to spend? I would think Cincy. You get Eli Apple behind out of here. You put Jalen Ramsey there. They probably win that game on that play. But now it's like, that ain't making sense for the Dolphins. That ain't making sense for the Dolphins, man.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And the Dolphins, the Dolphins won the third string quarterback in that game. They won the third string
and
quarterback.
almost won it. They only lost the game, but they should have been blown completely out of the water, and they only lost by 3. So it's telling you defense was solid enough. Yeah. And the scheme, of course, they were running was quarterback friendly. So no, that was not a necessary move. That was it was like let's make headlines. Let's waste a bunch of money and a crucial thing because if you know what you're doing, you can find great starters in the third round. Let's waste that, and Eric James says it perfectly. His name will get more butts in the seats at Hard Rock.
That's exactly what I said. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
they try to
and that's the perfect way to put it. Oh, Jalen Ramsey, people gonna go buy Miami Dolphins Jalen Ramsey jerseys. Hopefully those jerseys will be retarded. So they'll be made out of Nomex or something like that. So
but 18 mil per?
Yeah. 18 mil per for him to flex on the sideline and get beat. Yeah, so that's a lot. I'm sorry. And it's just like people they want to make these grandiose ideas. My team should sign this guy, my team should sign that guy, but they don't do the research into the cap. They don't do the research into the player. They just see that they hit a name. They don't do the research into the cap. They don't do the research into contracts. None of that stuff. Let's get such and such. With what? Y'all, and I'm going to say it like we talked about in our group earlier today. To the fans, y'all need to really understand how this stuff works. This is not Madden where you can cut off the salary cap and just go get whoever you want.
Year in and year out.
People will go, oh my God. I was in a heated debate today earlier with somebody about that, and they were just like, they were going over, but we need to get to something like, with what? How are we going to trade for this person? And we don't have the draft capital to even get him. Furthermore, if we trade for him, we inherit his contract. How are we going to pay for his contract when we only have so much under the cap and we still got to sign our draft picks? I said,
And
do
guess
your
what?
research. You got to understand how this stuff works.
And guess what? You guys just restructured the contract, I think, of Fred Warner 2 minutes into the show.
We had to.
I know.
We had
Oh,
to.
I know. I
San
get it, but I'm
Francisco
just saying.
They restructured Shavarius Ward and they restructured Fred Warner so they could create some cap space. Now I think they might make a couple of more small, mid to low level free agent moves. It won't be any splashes because John Lynch typically makes one splash a year, and then he goes and gets mid to low level guys, and then he saves his money. Last year was Shavarius Ward. This year is Javon Hargrove, and after that, everything else is going to be kind of under the radar type.
But that's how
moves
you
and stuff.
that's
So,
how you do
yeah.
things, though, man. You know, to have consistent depth and good
Absolutely.
contracts, and people talk. You know, even our team. You know, the Cowboys, man, like Jerry Jones, XYZ, Steve Jones, whatever. But man, we're in decent position every year as far as contracts are concerned. Now we recently overpaid for Dak, but it was market value. We overpaid for Zeke at that time. That's probably the biggest one that sticks out. But other than that, we usually, like, even the Stephon Gilmore acquisition it's a good deal. It's a good price. You know, it's 1 year.
It was a good trade.
Yeah.
It was a very I can't knock that. That was a smart trade.
Yeah.
What you gave for him and what you're paying him, and it's a 1 year deal. So it's not like you stuck with this contract. If he turns out to, I mean, he's going to be 33 at the start of the season. So, you know, it's if he turns out to not be okay, then he hadn't really lost anything because Dallas still had a top 3 defense this year. So without Stephon Gilmore, they can still have a top 3 defense. He's a piece of that adding and saying, okay, we're not paying a whole lot for him. Miami, take notes. But basically, you adding a piece that could help you, or if he doesn't work out, it's not hurting you.
We did it on offense with T.Y. Hilton. Yeah. We did with T.Y. Hilton.
So
he came in.
That was, I cannot move. It
was,
it was a smart move. So and that's the thing. Is like that's what you have to make smart moves. And I made the comment about staying on top for a long time about being sustainable. I said I use the Eagles this year, whose team is falling apart rapidly, and the Rams, who are mere shells of themselves because they sold out, tried to go win a Super Bowl. The Rams managed to pull it off with a lot of lucky breaks. And then the Eagles got to one and didn't win it. But now they're going to be pretty much out of it for probably another 2-3 years. And it's like I use the analogy. Do you want to visit a mansion or do you want to live in one? You want to be good on top for several years where you're constantly a contender, or do you just want to be the it contender, maybe pull out a championship 1 year and then be trash for 3 or 4 years later? You want to visit the mansion or you want to live in one?
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a team for the last 5 years. They've done more to visit a mansion. They have maybe not owned a mansion, but probably rented a mansion. San Francisco 49ers acquired defensive tackle Javon Hargrave. We're gonna start again with you, Eric. Man, talk to us, man.
Well, first of all, they were talking about this. Goes back to me. People talking about people doing your research. The deal says $84 million. In reality, if you do research on the contract, first of all, it's only hitting us for $6.6 million this year. Okay, so that's the next thing. A lot of his other money is incentives, workout bonuses, so on and so forth. A lot of those don't count against the cap. So his deal is huge, but it's not hitting the cap. That's why every team needs a good capologist to say, okay, we want to get this guy. We want to get him his money, but we want to see how we can not have it count against us on the cap. Now, all his money is backloaded, but he has an option to have a couple of those last few years voided. So if he doesn't, he's 30 right now. So by the time he's 33, we could get out of that contract and move on from him without having to hit us. Not to mention the salary cap is growing exponentially each year. They just signed the YouTube TV deal. They just signed the deal with Amazon. So that revenue coming into the NFL is going to be constantly growing. So the cap is going to get bigger. Smart teams, you don't front load at this point. In this day and age, you do not front load contracts. You push them all of the heavy stuff toward the bottom of the contract. So that way it doesn't hurt you now. And if the guy's still balling and you want to hold on to him last couple of years of his deal, you got the capital to pay him. So I think Javon Hargrave is a great addition. Javon Kinlaw, bless his heart. I think they're looking to move on from him. They probably will not sign his 5th-year option. They won't exercise it. He's just been too injured. And in the NFC Championship, around at the point of attack, and you need so that's what he was brought in for. That we needed help along the defense line. I don't think the 49ers are done just yet. I think they're gonna do more in the draft because this team actually does really well. I'm kind of glad we don't pick until the third round because most of the late picks that the Niners have had, late day 2, day 3 picks, those are the guys that wind up really panning out.
Yeah,
the Niners scouting department very good with finding like, who the hell is that guy? I don't know, but he balling. So he was a 7th round. He's a 6th round. He's undrafted.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna cut you off. That's what I'm saying about this Carolina thing. Like, dude, you can get quality players. I think this is gonna be a really good draft, man. It's like at number 9, you can get a heck of a quarterback, man, and you could have still kept DJ Moore. But anyway, that's what they decided they wanted to do. So I'll leave them alone.
If you do your homework, you're absolutely right, Steve. If you do your homework, you don't have to make that type of move and spend that type of capital to move up. And that's why I said when you were sitting there just chomping at the bit, ready to go, I was like, I know what Steve about to say. I know what he's about to say. And that's it wasn't a necessary move. You drafted in the top 10. You don't have to make that type of move. Yeah. So it is Miami, and right now Miami and Carolina got me scratching my head. Like really, it's like, why did you do that? Why make a move like that when it makes no sense? It makes no sense at all. So, but it's been some strange goings on and some pretty interesting going on. A few
in the NFL
these last 24 hours.
Yeah, like Darren Waller got traded from the Raiders to the Giants.
Now that should have been the bruh moment.
Hey, look, hold on. We can run this more than once.
We're also gonna have a special soundbite that we're gonna put in later that we're working on. You'll find out. Those of you who are watching in future shows, you're gonna find one. Some of y'all have seen it before. But we're going to have another sound bite for different things, and y'all going to really laugh at it because if you know where it comes from, you're going to laugh. But we'll be adding that in the future shows. Trash. Anyway.
away.
No, they don't know.
It needs to be non-visual. It needs to be non-visual, man. Come on now. We're appealing to everybody, man. Don't put them letters up there like that. Anyways.
Okay, so yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders lost their mind on the crap table. They
required Jimmy Garoppolo.
Dear God. Okay,
that's not a bad ad.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me if there's anybody who needs a top level tight end to do well, it's James Jonathan. I forgot his middle name, Garoppolo. Okay. Like you bring in Jimmy Garoppolo and you get rid of your Pro Bowl tight end, who is arguably a top 5 tight end in this league. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? If you go and do the research, when Jimmy Garoppolo had some of his best games, they were throwing to George Kittle.
I'm watching TV today. They're showing his highlights in his acquisition with the Raiders. All the clips are to freaking Kittle. All his highlights on ESPN.
Case in point. And you bring him in, and I'm not even knocking them acquiring Jimmy Garoppolo because it makes sense. Josh McDaniels was his Daniels was his offensive coordinator when he was in New England. I'm not knocking that. It makes sense. If anybody can do anything with Jimmy Garoppolo, who's a reclamation project, it's going to be Josh McDaniels. So
Mhm.
I'm not knocking that acquisition.
It
Okay,
better be Josh McDaniels.
But-
McDaniels gonna be fired again.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, this move right here is not solidifying his seat. It's warming it up. You literally have a quarterback who's made his bones off of delivering to tight ends. That's
Yeah.
what he's done. All the
Yeah.
time he's in San Francisco. When he came in relief during the Brady suspension,
Yeah.
it was Gronk.
You need to
Like,
tight
so
end.
you get rid of. Come on, man.
You need that
makes
safety blanket,
no
man.
sense.
You need that safety blanket, man. Especially when you first joining a team.
Because we know
like,
Jimmy Garoppolo can't push the
Yeah.
ball down the field to Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is going to literally punch Jimmy Garoppolo in the face.
You saw how
sometime
upset-
in the locker room this
You
season.
saw how
I
upset
promise
Josh
you.
Jacobs was. You saw how mad he was at this deal.
Man.
Yeah.
Now Josh Jacobs might get a bunch of catches now. Because Jimmy loved to check down. But pushing the ball down the field,
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is going to request a trade, or he's going to get extremely violent.
And-
or indignant, because
Who they just signed? Jacoby Myers?
Jacoby Myers, a wide receiver.
I don't even like that.
so you
I don't even like that.
yeah, that
Because you look at his production in New England and you look at Hunter Renfro's production in Vegas, it's like Hunter Renfro is more productive than Jacoby Myers. You spending more money. You could have just kept Darren Waller and Hunter Renfro. You could have drafted a guy because this is a receiver deep draft amongst other positions. You could have easily just done that. This is wild, man. This has been a wild week, man.
and you're in a division with the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, the up and coming Los Angeles
You need to
Chargers,
be going. You need to
and
be
now
going
the
defense.
Sean Payton coached Denver Broncos.
Right. That could be
you
a
get
different
rid of-
offense this year. That has
They-
high
they
potential.
just
for a different
signed-
offense.
They just signed 2 starting linemen, didn't they?
Yeah, they
The
got
Broncos. They just acquired 2 linemen.
they got McGlinchey from San Francisco and somebody else.
Now now if you got a good pass rusher, then you're gonna be all right because McGlinchey is
Okay.
I you know.
Now, I will
Okay.
say this. Now, hold on. Now, I hear what you're saying, Eric. The only thing I will say about Sean Payton, well, and it's completely different quarterback with Drew Brees, but he knows how to hide his offensive tackle some way, somehow.
He does. He does.
He's more of a guard center type head coach.
If there's anybody I trust Sean Payton to scheme away from the inadequacies of Mike McGlinchey. So I
Right.
trust Sean Payton.
What
with that.
position is McGlinchey?
Offensive tackle.
He's a right tackle.
Okay.
Right.
And he only got paid what he got paid because the market for tackles is not what it should be this year. So like
Okay.
he was arguably one of the better right tackles. So he got paid really high. He's like, I need to
Okay,
make my
Walker
move
Zach.
while I can.
Okay.
That's what that was, you know. Okay, so he says Renfro doesn't get in the end zone and make big plays. Myers can be a target downfield. Who's the quarterback?
Well, if Myers
I'm
is
shutting all
the
that down.
target,
Who's
how come he
quarterback?
never had more than 6 touchdowns a season
Who
or
the
1,000
quarterback?
yards yet in his career?
Damn all that. Who the quarterback? Damn getting downfield. Who the quarterback? He can get downfield. He gonna be downfield by himself, waving his damn hands. Hey, I'm hoping. Let me go. He gonna
Man,
underthrow it or hit
Look,
somebody
you
in the
gotta be
face
glad I
and
ain't got my
fall.
soundboard, man. You lucky I'm down on my soundboard, man.
Give a damn about somebody getting downfield in Las Vegas. Who the damn quarterback? Derek Carr ain't there no more. Care about no Barnes getting downfield. Who gonna throw in the ball? I had to watch this clown for the last 5-6 years in San Francisco. I know what the hell I'm talking about.
316
Brandon
coming
Ayuk
out.
streaking down the damn field and Jimmy can't get him the ball. Who the damn quarterback? Come on, cuz. That's my cousin. That's my cousin, Prolific Rambo. You know good and hell well. That's my point. I don't care. Mine's to run a damn 1.740. Okay, it don't matter.
I 1.740.
It don't matter. Garoppolo does not push the ball downfield.
Man. Oh man, that's gold. That's gold. All right, Eric, calm down. All right,
and
man.
their best target, I'm telling you, Renfro about to get a lot of targets because Renfro is a short yardage across the middle,
Mhm.
ain't scared of nothing type of receiver. Renfro about to get a lot of catches
Mhm.
because they got rid of Darren Waller.
And speaking of, we mentioned Derek Carr. I want to go here now. Comment. Cool Eric off for just a little bit.
Yeah, Derek Carr's in New Orleans. Did we talk about that last week?
But I want to go here now. You saw Michael Thomas's restructured contract.
Yeah, he's
You
gonna stay
see
in New
these
Orleans.
veterans. You see these veterans kind of figuring out they're not who they think they are, i.e., Ezekiel Elliott as well.
Saints fans, chime in on that Michael Thomas, please. I like getting some comments from Saints fans.
Oh, hey, GM.
I hope Titus is on here. I really do hope Titus is on here.
I want to know what they think. Yeah.
Or even
Like,
Janelle.
Oh, hey, Jim, I'll take a pay cut, man. I'm just trying to be part of the team. Oh, now you want to be part of the team. See?
Because he realized he ain't got no market.
Exactly. That's Ezekiel Elliott's behind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talking about, I'll take a pay cut. I'm going to be a Cowboy for life. I'll take a pay cut. You wouldn't worry about that crap when you were misbehaving off the field and you were out 6-7 games in your prime. You didn't care about that then. But now you about to get booted. All right, hey, coach, what you got on that veteran minimum salary right there? Nah, man.
Let me tell you something. Tony Pollard in a walking boot right now is better than Ezekiel Elliott.
Exactly. He needs to get out of
here. Okay. I'm sorry.
And if I'm the Saints, I'm getting rid of Michael Thomas too. You got Chris Olave down there. You got a young decent core. I think Jarvis is still down there, right? Jarvis Landry. I'm getting Michael Thomas. You get $10 million. They can have $10 million freed up for a receiver who's not even reliant, man.
Yep.
He would be out of here. You ask me. He would be out of here. He won't restructure when Drew Brees was there, did he?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's starting to realize when you start to realize your market.
Yeah.
And see, here's the thing. I'm going back to Miami again being stupid. Because if Miami would have stood pat, I guarantee the Rams would have had to release Jalen Ramsey and they could have got him for pennies on the dollar and not give up any draft cap.
Mm-hmm.
Because people have watched the film on Jalen Ramsey. They're like, yeah, this dude ain't worth no 18 million, 36 over the next 2 years. No, he is not worth that. I tell you what, you come play for us, but we're gonna give you this much.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I think some of these teams, it's like y'all said Madden earlier. Like I'm playing Madden. Like I wonder if this trade with the CPU gonna go through. Like, oh shoot, it is. They really going for it. All right, cool. I think some of these teams are like really surprised they're able to pull these trades, man. Like they're laughing at these other front offices, man.
I keep telling y'all the opioid epidemic. Because some of these GMs got to be high as a kite. Dude. I'm serious to make some of the moves. I'm like, are you serious right now?
Dude,
like
they need to hire freaking.
I think the GMs. I think the GMs be playing Madden in their office. Like, okay, this is a trade we gonna do.
Oh yeah. If you want a good GM, people need to be hiring Louis Riddick, man. He on TV, man. He said yesterday, man. Yeah. It was like, man, somebody needs to hire him to help them out big time.
No, Steve, Louis Riddick is the GM where Eric Bieniemy is the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
It is a shame that Louis Riddick drafted one of the best safeties in our time, and he cannot get a job anywhere.
Yep.
Rest in peace to Sean Taylor.
That's a whole nother topic, though.
Can we?
That's a whole nother topic right there.
Can I ask a question to y'all real quick?
Okay. What's the question? What's up?
I have my answer. I want to see what y'all have to say. Lamar Jackson, man, what's going on? I know it's been mentioned before, but what's going? I need. I'm gonna tell you the answer.
You want me? You want me to go first? Brandon, you got it.
All right. I'm gonna go first because I think my answer is gonna be the weakest.
Okay.
So I think the league is pretty much telling you the truth of how they feel about Lamar Jackson and that contract, or they don't want to give up all that for Lamar Jackson because you're going to have to give up 2 first-round picks or more for him. You're going to have to pay him pretty much 100% guaranteed contract. And I mean, there was a rumor that said he was going to Atlanta. Atlanta just signed somebody to be the backup quarterback. So that tells me that they are keeping Desmond Ritter
Mm-hmm.
and they got this backup quarterback. I want to say it's Andy Dalton, but I could be wrong. Do I have it?
I think Dalton went to Carolina.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it was. And
Yep.
okay, well, anyway,
Yep.
they got somebody. Anyway, Chicago. I'm not saying Chicago was even in the mix, but Chicago has the cap space to go after Lamar Jackson. But after the trade they made with Carolina, that tells me they sticking with Justin Fields right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders had the fourth most cap space at one point. They just picked up Jimmy G to play quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So
there you go.
The league told you the truth about how they feel about Lamar Jackson. And I mean, it really didn't take long because he was franchise tag not this past Sunday, but I think the Sunday before. And it is Tuesday, 9 days later. So the league definitely told you the truth about how they felt about Lamar Jackson, about making that trade, paying him all that money. And he's going to,
I'm gonna throw in one more variable in there.
Okay, give me 1 more second. He is now going to have to figure out a contract to stay in Baltimore, or I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season. Go ahead, Eric.
Injuries.
Mm-hmm.
People are not interested. Right now, people are backing away from the table and saying it's too rich for my blood. Teams are doing that right now because everything you said, which is spot on, Brandon, and then also the fact that his injuries are a concern. If I'm going to spend that type of money, I need to know that you are going to be available. That's not the only thing, but it's a huge part of it.
Well, they always say the best ability is availability.
Hello. Come on.
So,
yes, sir.
And we know a mutual friend in here. Okay. So I said it back when they offered him his contract last time. I said that's a great deal. He needs to take that contract right now. Just because the daggone Cleveland Browns, who ain't never won nothing, does bad business, don't mean the league got to abide by it.
And they just restructured that deal.
Oh, and hold on.
So now how's Lamar looking?
Steve, wait, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me cut you off for like 20 seconds on that.
Good.
When they restructure that contract, they are on the hook for what is $64 million 2024, 2025, and I believe 2026. Like, you cannot restructure that contract anymore, which means, yeah, you might be able to get some players this year, but you got to put all your chips in this year, and they really haven't done much of anything, which means they're not going anywhere. They're not even winning the division this year. So the next 3 to 5 years, Cleveland is still going to be trash, and it's going to be wasted. And Deshaun Watson's contract is a waste
and
of
that's
time
what I'm
and money
saying.
and draft picks. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The Ravens have been consistently competitive, right?
Yes, they have.
They have a healthy quarterback. They know how to construct rosters and win the Super Bowl. They know how to do that. They know what it takes. This is a front office that's
except for when it comes to drafting receivers,
right? But they still have their front office intact to put a roster together. And mind you, I want with Lamar Jackson, I want every brother to get their money, but business is business. He should have took that deal. It was a very fair deal, a lot of guaranteed money. Teams now, since he signed the unrestricted franchise tag, like y'all said, there are probably a handful of teams that don't have a starting quarterback on their roster that they truly believe in. And it's like that handful of teams, they're not going to give you 2 first-round picks
or more,
and give him the contract that he is
seeking.
No shade that him and his mom are working together to saying that he demands. It's like it doesn't work that way. So here's what's going to have to happen now. No one's going to do that in this period. He's going to have to he's going to sign a tag and or request a trade. So now I think teams are interested in him, but they're not going to do it at that price, which is what the unrestricted franchise tag does. So it had to be a trade request, and even still, that's still going to be a steep price, man. I feel bad. He should have signed that deal. It was a great deal, and now his market value is going down because of his injuries last season. So
there you go.
I don't know.
The prosecution ratio on it's all been said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
take some questions and comments, Brandon. I see the comment box is kind of full. Let's pull some comments up and talk about.
I mean, the comments are full, but I mean, okay, I tell you what. There was an old question. Actually, it was a good draft question way back. Let me go back to it, and let me tell you. It's regarding the defensive tackle that's coming out of. Is it Georgia? I believe. Yeah, Georgia. Jalen Carter. It's Prolific Ramble asks, "What's Carter's draft stock looking like? How much will he actually fall?" Guessing that's depending on the case. I don't know where that's at. Prolific Ramble, very good question on Jalen Carter. The only thing we know is that he has 2 charges. What is it? Speeding and
reckless endangerment.
Reckless endangerment. But see, the thing is, though, people died on the scene. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. So I'm assuming
he's in trouble.
I'm assuming that more charges going to come out eventually. When? I don't know. And so to me, right now, just off the 2 charges, I think his draft stock comes down a little bit. But once you start hearing those news of two people dying and you waiting on the other charges, this guy could come out of the draft and may not be drafted at all.
Well, it was urgent enough where he had to leave the combine that day.
Yes.
And get back to Athens. So whatever they think they have on him, well, whatever trouble he's in, because we know he's in trouble. And he had some dishonesty about his account of the whole incident and stuff.
Yeah.
He got bigger issues than worry about the NFL right now.
Yeah.
To be completely honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't schedule no interviews with any teams. I wouldn't be running no pro days. I wouldn't be doing nothing. You need to be down in Georgia, Athens, Georgia, and you need to be figuring it out. And actually, I think the police department in Athens is in trouble because they try to cover up for him. So
I can see that.
Yeah,
he needs to be more in touch with his lawyer than his agent.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Eric James asks, "Is Case Keenum the answer in Houston?"
No, he's not. They're not. That's not what they brought him in for.
He's what is now. If you played Madden before, they used to call him a Band-Aid player. That's what Case Keenum is. He's a Band-Aid player. Just put a Band-Aid on, and then that's it.
Case Keenum to Houston is what Sam Darnold is to San Francisco. That's basically it. He's brought in to be for quarterback depth in case something goes awry. I think Houston is probably going to draft a quarterback somewhere at pick 2. So
absolutely.
So that they just need a veteran presence there. Case Keenum played his college ball at U of H, so that's all it was.
Yeah, and then shoot, if DeMeco can run the defense like he did in San Francisco at some point, it's like Davis Mills may have the ball enough to put some more points up. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole new regime.
Hey Steve, I like Houston's secondary now because Derek Stingley,
Petrie.
Jalen Petrie. That's what I was trying to think of. Jalen Petrie. Hey, look, Houston against Dallas. Go back, watch that Houston-Dallas game.
Yeah.
And tell me how hard Jalen Petrie is hitting those Cowboys receivers.
Well, Dallas shouldn't have won that game, to be completely honest.
And they just added Jimmy Ward.
Jimmy Ward and Emmanuel Mosley.
See, listen.
Emmanuel Mosley went to Detroit.
That's right, he went to Detroit. Okay.
But Jimmy Ward, and you're probably going to see a lot of former 49ers players probably signing in Houston because Houston has a cap space and the scheme, and they are endeared to that DC. They love DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah,
and you'll notice when these new defensive-minded head coaches come in, rarely is a move made to get a new quarterback high and early. Because a lot of these teams know, listen, if we have a good defense, our offense can operate a little different. Now, let's see what this guy has. I think that's going to be this year for Houston. They're going to kind of see how the defense translates to the offense, in my opinion.
And they have a good run game in Houston.
They do.
So they need to get that quarterback thing going.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. That defense already was set up with a decent foundation under Lovie Smith.
Oh, definitely.
So
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally like going through that analogy. You're moving into a new house. You already got a nice couch and a living room set.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the rooms may not be furnished, but you got a couch and a living room set to work with. And you got a couple of other few things there. Now you got to add is a few more and got the money to do it. So
Yep.
D'Amico Ryans is not arriving in Houston with a bare cupboard.
Thank you.
That's the thing. You got some pieces there in Houston.
Yeah.
And I look to see probably some more guys who are free agents that were defensive players in San Francisco winding up in Houston. I can see that.
Hey,
Because
hey, where did that linebacker go from
What
San
linebacker?
Francisco?
Azeez Al-Shaair has not signed yet, but Houston is probably going to be where he's going to wind up. I could see him. He probably wants to go somewhere where he gets to be the green dot guy. And he's going to wind up probably being D'Amico Ryans' green dot guy because D'Amico Ryans was his linebacker coach before he was his defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I see Azeez Al-Shaair, and it was just a numbers game because it wasn't like San Francisco didn't care about him. It was just that it was a logjam. I mean, you got Fred Warner, who's an All-Pro. You got Dre Greenlaw, who's a Pro Bowl snub, and then Azeez Al-Shaair. So, and who was undrafted, by the way. And they gonna just on to the next one. It's like, okay, man, you made your bones here. Go get your money. We ain't mad at you. And we got another guy that was on the practice squad. We're gonna bring up because you basically the third linebacker. So Azeez Al-Shaair, I said his name wrong. Azeez Al-Shaair is probably gonna wind up in Houston. I think he'll wind up in Houston for he's not gonna be very expensive. And if it just makes the most sense for him to wind up there. And he's already sent a Instagram post, a goodbye Instagram post to San Francisco fans. So
and they got that defense. They got didn't they get Samson Ekubon?
No, Samson Ebukam went to the Colts.
That's right.
He will be playing against D'Amico Ryans.
That's right.
He will be playing against him twice a year.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's it's some really interesting moves that are being made. Let's hit some more questions because I think I saw a couple.
Byron Murphy could be going to Minnesota. Former Arizona quarterback. You want to talk about it?
He could be going to Minnesota.
Yeah, this is news just breaking just now.
I think that's an upgrade.
Byron Murphy to the Vikings. Yeah, big contract.
I think that's an upgrade for the Vikings because Patrick Peterson, love him to death, but Patrick Peterson shouldn't have got the deal he got for Pittsburgh. But
and
he's not there anymore.
I'm so glad his name got unlinked to the Cowboys. I was like, I would not be happy about that acquisition.
Yeah.
But the Vikings,
they're
only going to go as far as Kirk Cousins, man. They can sign whoever they want to sign. As long as he playing the way he playing, they're not going to do anything. They won 3 more games by luck last season than they should have, to be completely honest.
Hey, look.
Well, your name is a verb.
Look, Minnesota is about to take a huge step back this year.
Yeah.
They are about to take a
because
huge
when your quarterback's name is a verb, he gonna find a way to Kirk Cousins this up. He's a verb. Like, oh god, he Kirk Cousins. There it is. Oh, Marcus Davenport left the Saints, went for Minnesota.
He's in Minnesota. I think I want to say it's a 1-year deal though. It's like a prove a deal.
Anytime it's a 1-year deal, it's not overpaying. That's a smart deal because you finna see what he is. If he loses his freaking mind, then you go ahead and give him the bag the next year and keep him there.
Yeah.
So I think
getting 13 mil this year.
That's significant.
Yeah.
For a pass rusher, that's above average. It's not big money, but it's above average. It's above average.
That's a lot.
So they're gonna see what he gonna do. But we'll see. Because didn't Zadarius Smith just leave Minnesota?
He wants to leave.
Oh, he's requesting a trade.
He's gonna be
that might facilitate. That's
And
going to facilitate that trade.
I blame the Bills for Von Miller's contract. Thank you, Bills. Thank you, Brown, for shifting the market.
And what, running back?
Man,
No, linebacker. I'm blaming the
linebacker.
Browns for quarterback, but I'm blaming the Bills for linebacker with Von Miller's contract.
man,
Okay.
look, I'm still mad about Trent Baalke giving up all that money to
Oh, Kirk.
he destroyed the wide Kirk Cousins. He destroyed the wide receiver market.
And that's why
I'm like,
Odell
oh my
Beckham ain't
God.
signed yet.
Could you like-
Look,
Oh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Mr. Beckham, who wants $20 million. Who? You want where? From who?
Carolina will pay it. Carolina will pay
For
it.
real?
Carolina
Hey,
do
look,
something like that.
look,
I know
Oh,
they
really?
would.
Look,
That's how your knees
look.
feel?
look,
Falcons would do that.
look. Odell Beckham. Somebody need to tell him that you are no longer the anchor wide receiver you used to be. Okay,
Somebody
you're
pay
not that anymore.
Somebody's gonna do it.
Somebody will pay you.
You
Somebody
are
stupid enough to pay you.
you are a WR2 plus, just like Tristan said. Okay, Byron Murphy, $9 to $11 million per season. Okay, we'll find out the numbers in a minute. Okay, 2 year 22. Okay. Anyway,
If the Raiders picked up a contract for Jacoby Myers where he's getting about 13 a year, somebody gonna give Odell 20.
yeah, they are.
Somebody dumb enough to give him 20.
Yep.
Somebody is dumb enough. If the Carolina Panthers was dumb enough to make that trade with the Chicago Bears,
That's what
if
I'm
the
saying.
Miami Dolphins was dumb enough to pay Jalen washed up Ramsey $36 million over 2 years,
Hey,
damn it,
look,
somebody is dumb enough
It's
to
gonna be
give Odell
Panthers.
Beckham $20 million.
It's gonna be the Panthers or the Falcons or maybe Tennessee or somebody. You saw the Falcons just brought in Jonnu Smith. So now they got two 12, 13 plus $1 million tight ends on their roster.
who's the second
Each.
one?
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts not getting paid yet.
I think he is.
He's
I think he
on a
is.
rookie contract.
I understand that. I understand that.
He's not
But
getting paid yet.
But what I'm saying is, would you bring in a tight end that expensive when you have Kyle Pitts?
No.
Would you, Eric?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
You could bring in somebody
at
cheaper,
all.
man.
I know you can bring in somebody cheaper. But yeah, no, Kyle Pitts not getting paid yet. Actually, Kyle Pitts, he's been this year. He got hurt this year, from what I understand. What is the most underrated move you guys feel like it has happened so far this offseason?
Underrated. You mean somebody who kind of signed under the radar, but it's like a huge signing for them?
Yeah.
Or
what move do you like the most?
Before I answer that question, yeah, Kyle Pitts is only due to make 8.9 this year.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I know my players, the players that come from my team. Daniel Brunskill, we were talking about this before we went on the air. Daniel Brunskill signing that deal was huge for whatever team. I forgot what team he went to, but what you have to understand is the versatility of Daniel Brunskill is what made him so valuable. At one point or another, Daniel Brunskill started at all 5 offensive line positions for the 49ers. At one point or another in his career there. He's capable of playing left tackle all the way across to right tackle. He can play both guard positions. He can play center. He is not necessarily what you would call a diehard great starter. He can start, but when he does start, because really he translates to guard. That's his best position. That's his best position. But in a pinch, he can play tackle for you and keep your quarterback alive. In a pinch, he can play center for you and make all the line adjustments. So his versatility is what makes that's a very underrated signing.
Okay.
And I can't remember what the team that signed him, but it's a huge loss for the 49ers. I can tell you that right now because he was like the 6th lineman.
Oh, was that the guy who
somebody went down? Brunskill ran in there.
Wasn't that the guy who I chose?
Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay.
Tennessee. Tennessee, that's where he went. That's huge because he can plug and play at any spot on the offensive line. And he's, like I said, he's a better guard. If you really wanted to list him, he'd be listed as a guard.
Mhm.
But in a pinch, he can play those other positions. And
Okay.
like that's value.
Right. Of
Because
course,
you
definitely.
having him on the roster means you can probably cut somebody else and address another position.
Yep.
So yeah, he's extremely valuable. And he's not a Pro Bowler. He's not an all pro, but because of his versatility in those positions, he's extremely valuable.
Okay.
Steve,
So,
you got
yeah.
one?
That's
I want to wait. It's still early.
Okay.
I want to wait before I answer this, but I'm gonna kind of answer it now anyway at the same time. I think one move that I don't like it because it's to a team in my division, but it's good for the team is that Darren Waller acquisition at tight end. He's immediately the best receiver option they have in New York right now. So it's a good move for them, but it's still really early in this period, man. I want to see what else happens.
I'm trying to see now. It's a different coach to address what you're talking about, but Daniel Jones damn near had Evan Ingram out the damn league because he could not really capitalize on the talent of Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram had to go to Jacksonville. He had to go to Jacksonville to get the love that he deserved.
And also at the same time as well, their run game wasn't there, which of course changes the offense. I mean, now they got to pass all the time, all crazy, and it's a whole different offense now. So now they had somewhat of a decent one. I just think that's an ad that I think people just really aren't thinking about. Even statistically, last year, Daniel Jones had a decent year statistically. Now, I don't think like they're gonna go deep in the playoffs, but their offense has improved with that acquisition for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Darren Waller getting there. I would agree with that because he adds another wrinkle to that offense. So
Yeah.
But the Raiders are just stupid. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. The Raiders are dumb.
You could have kept Darren Waller and not signed Jacoby Myers. Where did that come from? Man,
it doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense, man. So let's grab a few more comments before we finish for the night.
I got a question up in here. Eric James, why haven't the Saints traded? I think he plays offensive tackle. Andres Pitt. I still don't understand how he was ever picked as a Pro Bowler.
That's probably why they haven't traded him. That's probably why they haven't traded him. You're trying to keep your new quarterback upright. And I mean, if he's been picked for a Pro Bowl, somebody thinks he's good. And how you gonna replace him if you get rid of him? Because right now the Saints have less than $1 million in cap space.
Well, they did draft offensive tackle last year in the first round.
Yes, they did, but he was the other side, Trevor Penning. Yeah. So
okay.
I just don't see how they would make a move. How the Saints would make a move that could replace him. I know, and trust me, I understand because you're like, man, this dude ain't no good. But at the end of the day, you're like, who's gonna replace him if we get rid of him? No, I don't think he's as good as he should be. But who can we get to replace him that we can afford, that we don't have to give up too much draft capital for, or that doesn't have to go through growing pains if we draft him? Who can come in and do what they do? And so Eric James says he stays hurt and they have the depth. Okay, that's on your coaching staff then. That's my reply to that. It's like, okay, if there's the depth, then why is this other guy playing? Why are these other guys playing? Why haven't they supplanted him for that position?
True.
So that's on the coach staff. And I'm not saying the coach staff's right. I'm not saying that. They could be dumb as a sack of wet marbles. I'm a Texan. You're like, what? Yeah. So, but it could be that, but I think it's a coaching decision, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, But I think the Saints still they're gonna be in the driving seat in the South this year. And
Oh, we have. I don't know if you
with
shared it. I don't mean to cut you off. And Rashad made a comment. Can you go to Rashad's last comment? I don't mean to cut you off, Eric.
oh
Hold
okay,
on.
all right.
Give me a second.
904. What is that about?
Montgomery going to Detroit, already stacked running back committee. Now, which Montgomery we're talking? I'm
David
assuming
Montgomery from the Bears, 3 years, $18 million deal.
Okay, so now watch this. Remember that conversation we were having off the air about Austin Eckler?
Yeah.
Guess
Yeah.
what? Eckler
Yeah.
wants a better deal. Guess who has
He
cap
does.
space? Guess who now has a need at running back? The Chicago Bears.
Uh-oh.
Keep your eyes open.
Now,
It makes
also,
the most
they have a free Jamal Williams is a free agent, so it's going to be Montgomery and the other running back,
DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift. So, Williams is a free agent, and so he'll probably end up somewhere else.
And Williams is a lot better than DeAndre Swift, actually, too.
So
been way more productive there.
Austin Eckler saw that move and was like,
Yeah, but Khalil Herbert, I mean, he
The
played better
team with
last
the most
season than
depth.
David Montgomery, anyways. But yeah, yeah.
trade me
And
there.
the thing is, Jamal Williams, man, Jamal Williams was a big part of that locker room, man. If you pay attention to the Bears last year, he was the heart and soul of
The
that
Lions?
team. Yeah, sorry, the Lions. He was the heart and soul of that team, man. It's hard to replace a guy like that, man. That's something I wouldn't do.
yeah, I know. I agree with you, man. Because you can almost lose a locker room, especially if things go south fast.
Yeah.
And for someone who's a head coach who used to be in NFL locker rooms, should know better.
I mean, he was leading all the huddles, leading all the breaks. All that. That's a big loss for that team, man. That is a big loss for that team, culture wise.
And culture is a hard thing to replace.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm still not gonna count the Lions out. They're on a medium.
Oh no, I'm not either. But
and I have more faith in them than I've had in past years in the Lions. He just added Emmanuel Mosley on a 1-year deal. And if he's anything like he was before his injury, he's going to get the bag the following year, because he was playing out of this world before he tore his ACL. So that was a smart pickup. I think they're going to draft smart. They've proven that they can draft smart these last 2 seasons. And it's going to be fun when we get going to our breakdown of different divisions. Which is coming up after the draft. After the draft, we'll be going division by division and picking our predictions for the winners for that division. In the meantime, we'll be covering more free agency talk, and we will also start previewing the draft with our positional breakdowns and talking about the different players. And of course, you as the subscriber and the watcher, you can come on in, ask questions about certain players, and we can rattle off some facts about them and what we think about them, because we have been watching hours of film. Hours of film, sometimes over and over and over again. So it's going to be really fun getting ready for the draft, but free agency is still going on. So I hope you enjoyed our show tonight. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Tell a friend. Make sure that they hit the like and subscribe button. We are just fans, but we know a whole lot about football. Brandon, you want to take us out?
All right, let's take it out. So, as you like I said in the beginning of the show, you see the title says Free Agency Part 1, big news until now. So now we just cover Montgomery to the Lions and Byron Murphy to the Vikings. So we have a part 2 show Friday night, same time. There's a 1-week thing only because it's the beginning of free agency / NFL Christmas. So look for us on Friday as well. We are live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can listen to us on 3 different podcasts: Google, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. Okay. Yeah, Eric said everything else. So I'm Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs the whole thing. Down below, Steve White, wide receiver, Morgan State University. To the left, the green dot defensive player, Pando 316.
Somebody gonna give Odell that damn money. Somebody dumb enough.
Peace, y'all. Good night.